If there was any doubt that MAGA truly is a white supremacist, racist movement, it's now. In light of what happened with Amy Coney Barrett, them calling her DEI because she ruled with the Constitution against Donald Trump, in light of that, I've come to realize that this movement really does despise and hate anybody who is not straight, white, or male. And it's funny because, we used to always joke about the radical blue-haired leftists, like libtard, triggered libtards. Straight white male. But look, they were right. They were right. The chick that was screaming, no, when Trump won, she was fucking right. It was true. They were right. The highest ranking Black Medal of Honor recipient erased in Pentagon DEI purge. And that's not even the most disrespectful part of it. Let's read. Highest ranking Black Medal of Honor recipient erased in Pentagon DEI purge. The latest casualty in the Department of Defense sweep of all things related to diversity, equity, and inclusion is Charles Calvin Rogers, a Black Army officer who received the Medal of Honor for his gallant defense of a fire base near South Vietnam's border with Cambodia in 1968. He'd spent his entire career challenging discrimination in the Army. The DoD's popular Medal of Honor Monday series spotlighted then Lieutenant Colonel Rogers' story in a November 2021 feature. Over the weekend, the story was taken down, and here's the crazy part. This is where it gets ugly. And its URL altered to include the letters DEI in the web address, a change that author and Afghanistan veteran Brandon Friedman first noted on Blue Sky. The changes were likely part of Donald Trump's executive order to end all mandates, policies, programs, preferences, and activities related to DEI across the federal government. As of March 17th, the page and URL were restored following a broad outcry. The outcry really doesn't matter, because the reality is this is a reflection of how they feel. MAGA is a white nationalist movement. MAGA is a misogynistic movement. This is the reason why when Amy Coney Barrett ruled against Trump and sided with the Constitution, they called a Notre Dame summa cum laude graduate in law a DEI hire. This is the reason why they called Kamala Harris a DEI hire, despite the fact that Kamala Harris is a lawyer. She was a district attorney. She was an attorney general. She was a senator, and she was a vice president. If you as a Black Indian woman can accomplish that, all of that, and it's still not enough, I don't know what it would take to convince Black MAGA that MAGA hates you. Nothing you do will ever be enough. Submission is what they want, not accomplishment. They don't want accomplishment from you. Look at how they treat the white woman who ruled that Donald Trump basically is a king. The moment she said, not right there though, they unleashed all the DEI accusations. A woman who's 10 times as accomplished as any of these MAGA influencers is now DEI. Black MAGA, wake that ass up. Okay, Breakfast Club shit. Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club, wake your ass up, okay? They don't with you. They don't like you. They don't like the blacks, okay? Let's just tell it what it is. If you can serve this nation, earn the Medal of Honor, which requires you to fight and kill for your nation, possibly even be wounded or killed. If you can earn the Medal of Honor and still have your sacrifices spat on, trampled on, and destroyed, erased by MAGA, do they actually respect you? Are you actually an American to them? If you could literally be willing to make the ultimate sacrifice for this nation, if you could be willing to do that, and MAGA still has no respect for you, it begs the question, why does Black MAGA still believe they are a part of this movement? Even when you're a patriot, even when you're willing to die for this nation and kill for this nation, it's never enough. It's never enough. Are there members of the MAGA movement who aren't racist? Obviously. The problem is the non-racist members of the MAGA movement say nothing in light of shit like this. They stay silent. MAGA has spent so much time trying to say, that's not racist, that's not racist, that's not racist. They built up a culture of trying to deny racism everywhere they see it. Now that it's becoming undeniable, they must do everything in their power to pretend as though they cannot see it. That is the reality of the MAGA movement today. The MAGA movement now has to pretend like none of what they're doing is happening. The ones who aren't racist have to pretend like it's not happening, which at this point, you might as well be doing it yourself. Because you know it's wrong. You know it's wrong. You know it's racist. And it contradicts everything MAGA says. Just start talking about race. Just achieve. Just become an achiever. And maybe. Like, shut the fuck up. If you just stop talking about race and you just focus on achieving things, then when you achieve things, you kill for this country, your accomplishments are erased and branded DEI, which is just the new version of the N-word now. They might as well just put N-word. I can't say it, but they might as well just put the N-word instead of DEI. That's what they want to say. They called it DEI. They deleted this man's accomplishments. If you earn the Medal of Honor fighting in the Vietnam War, the very war that Donald Trump dodged, by the way, Donald Trump has dodged many things: imprisonment, consequences, accountability, but also a war. He dodged that too. He dodged the Vietnam War. This man went and fought for a nation that didn't even think he was equal. A nation that wouldn't even allow him into certain establishments because it was whites only. A nation that would have branded him a slur. That man went and fought for that country. He fought for that country. And this is what he gets. Donald Trump dodges the very same draft for the very same war and becomes the president. This nation is plagued. It is infected by MAGA. MAGA is a disease. MAGA is a disease and it needs to be purged. I will never listen to a single conservative who sits there and says, well, you know, if you just stop talking about race and you stop acting like a victim. Conservatives are the source. They are the very demographic that forced Black Americans to experience all this hardship. And now they're doing it again. And that very same demographic has the audacity to complain about people talking about racism. You are the source. And now they have the audacity to try to cover it up and reinstate the page. And it's funny because they've always been this way. The Republican Party sits there and says, the Democrats are the party of slavery. We're the party of Lincoln. When have you ever heard a Republican speak highly about Lincoln? You've never heard it because they hate the fact that he defeated the Confederacy. When have you ever heard conservatives speak highly about John Brown? As much as conservatives scream and shout about freedom this, freedom that, Under Armour this, freedom that, don't tread on me this, freedom that. As soon as it comes time to talk about a white man, it's the perfect scenario. It's not even a black man. John Brown's white. You could easily identify with him as a white person. I'm not like the racist white people. I'm like John Brown. They don't even say that. These conservatives, they hate John Brown. They hate the fact that John Brown would use violence to free people from slavery. Because the reality is conservatives don't believe in freedom for all. They believe in freedom for white people and white people only. And only for white people who are conservative and obey the MAGA agenda. Because what happens when you're a white man or a white woman who does not obey MAGA, who does not obey Trump? Now you're DEI, or now you're a criminal. Mark Milley's a criminal. Kelly's a criminal. Now all of a sudden you're a criminal if you don't obey their movement. These people are sick and twisted demons. They are like gremlin, goblin, orc filth. And they destroy this nation with every breath they take. This nation is dying because of these people. And they have the audacity to sit there and lecture Black Americans on how to talk and how to feel about Black American history, only for them to turn around and basically prove Black people's point again. And you have Black people, who vote for MAGA for whatever stupid fucking reason and conveniently ignore all of these things. If me putting my life on the line for this country isn't enough, nothing is enough. And we know this has happened before because when Black veterans came home from World War I, these same white supremacists, the ideological ancestors of MAGA, they massacred entire black towns. They did everything in their power to strip any and all accomplishment, any and all veneration and respect for those black veterans, to make sure they were alienated. When black veterans came home from World War II, the ideological ancestors of the MAGA movement made sure black veterans could not access the GI Bill. They did this on purpose to disenfranchise black Americans for generations. White generational wealth was built upon the New Deal and the GI Bill. Black Americans were not allowed to take part in this on purpose. They said, let the states decide. Don't let the federal government decide. This is what MAGA always does. When they want to ruin someone's life, whether it's women or blacks, let the states decide. That's how you know they're planning something evil. When a conservative says, let the states decide, you know they're deciding on ruining someone's fucking life. Let's just tell the truth. The reality is the MAGA movement is a movement of evil. It is a movement of malevolence, and it does not deserve any of your mercy. It does not deserve going low, high when they go low. This movement is vile, it is filth, and it is of the devil. Somebody had to say it. Somebody had to say it. The Jesus they claim to represent is not present here. He's not. I think I can comfortably say there is nothing Christ-like about MAGA. And these people sat there for 10 years and lectured. Candace Owens was their top stooge up there, and they made a fool out of her. She had to leave she had to break apart with the Daily Wire when she tried to bring that same energy toward the Jewish community. Candace Owens sat there for about 8-10 years, shitting on blacks, lecturing to blacks, only for the very movement she supported to turn around and call this man DEI because he's black. And I can guarantee you this, Candace Owens won't say shit about it. She won't. She's the chief stooge of, I'm not a victim. There's no victim mentality in acknowledging the truth. Look, I don't want to be the black guy picking up pebbles, looking for racism under pebbles and under grains of sand, and pulling out, magnifying glasses, looking for racism under, blades of grass and leaves. And where's the racism? I don't want to be that guy. I'm not that guy. But this is undeniable. There is no dancing around this one. This is true and it's real. And it's authentically disgusting. It's authentically racist. It's evident. It's obvious. And despite that fact, MAGA has nothing to say because now they can no longer play the game of, well, maybe, could it be at? No, they can't play the game anymore. Tally up all of their sins, because this is going to be incredibly important when figuring out what to do when this all comes crumbling down. They lectured blacks for years. And now they're pulling it on the white women too. White women, you ain't safe. Indians, you never been safe. They've been lighting your ass up. And it's funny watching Dennis fucking Prager, who's Jewish, by the way, pull up that video. They deleted it, but they uploaded a video at PragerU about how, Robert E. Lee's statue shouldn't come down because he squashed a slave rebellion. That's an accomplishment, squashing a slave rebellion. It never ceases to amaze me. I always have these moments of there's no fucking way. When I see Jewish conservatives so convinced that none of this is going to harm them ever. We can throw the blacks under the bus, the brown folk under the bus. We can throw all the other demographics under the bus, but we'll be safe. What? Okay. Keep it up, Dennis. Keep it up, Benjamin. Keep it up. Keep it up. And it's a damn shame, too, because now anti-Semitism is becoming popular on the right wing. It's becoming popular. They're on Joe Rogan talking about Jewish people. They're on Theo Vaughn talking about... It's getting ugly. MAGA's about to ruin the lives of literally everyone. White folk, black folk, Jewish folk, Hispanic folk. Everyone's lives are about to become immeasurably worse under this authoritarian, white trash, ignorant regime. This is crazy. This is basically a DEI administration. We have a draft-dodging president. We have a immigrant South African. We have a alcoholic Secretary of Defense. We have a Russian spy that's in charge of national security. We have a brain-dead, bum-ass, broke-ass, Nepo baby Kennedy member. The only thing going for him is his last name, overseeing our health. This is the most DEI administration I have ever seen in my lifetime. And I'm supposed to sit here and not say that this is racist? It is racist. Removing the Medal of Honor award to a black veteran simply because he's black, despite the fact that he fought and killed for this nation. It's racist. It just is. It just is. I know Candace won't say it. I know Brandon Tatum won't say it. I know fucking all the other black conservatives won't say it, but I'll say it. I'm tired of black conservatives pretending like this movement involves them. It doesn't involve you. They pretend sometimes like America's a black and white country to get your support. Then they get power. Then they become powerful, and all of a sudden they start forgetting the fact that black people have always been here, have always contributed, have always been a part of the American story, have been literally, you cannot, like, black America is America. It is entwined with the American story and never can be removed. But they're trying. They're making an effort. They're making an effort to remove black folk from the history of this country. Black MAGA, where you at? Where are you at?